Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about one of the important aspect on PowerPoint presentation. Economic growth leads to CO2 emissions. Rising CO2 concentrations and other forces lead to climate change. Climate change impose economical and economical impact. Climate change policies reduce emissions. Global CO2 emission 1990 to 2010. Global emissions. And this is one of the another things, global emissions actually increasing. So there are some other things. A compression of the transmission line of the left with a computer model of the energy and economic system on the right. Each serves a useful function, but computerized model are crucial tool for understanding trend and the impact of different policies. Response of model of IPCC fourth amendment report, the curve show a smooth distributions of the calculation transportation temperature and equilibrium temperature. Global temperature trend as constructed by the three research groups to 2012. Global means temperature increase as projected by IPCC scenario and IAM. The figure compare four projected using IPCC scenario with those of the region DICE model and the average of the EMF 22 integrated economic model. The letter AIB, A2, B1 and B2 represent standardized emission. Story proxy temperature estimate for Greenland. Triple point, moving from God to a bad equilibrium, the double bottoms bowls illustrate how a stress can change a system slowly until a tipping point is reached, after which there are rapid and potentially catastrophic changes. Note there are two equilibrium, a good equilibrium in and a bad equilibrium D. Illustration of the tipping point for the Greenland ice sheets. The figure shows calculations from the Greatism model of the responses of the Greenland ice sheets to different temperature. Living standard and the climate change with and without economic growth, the figure shows two possible figures. One is no growth and which turns to the productivity growth immediately. The other shows the projectors of the productivity growth built into the most integrated assessment model. The top half compresses the path of peer capital consumptions. The bottom half shows the difference in climate path of growth and no growth with and without any climate policy. Rapid climate change in the unintentional byproduct of rapid economic growth with no adaptation policies. Estimate impact of the climate change on the wheat yield for the low altitude regions. The line shows the summary resulted down from the adult 50 published studies at the multiple sites by the yield per acres as a function of the mean local temperature change. Trend in the price of the farm product United States 1984 to 2011. The figure shows the movement of the frame price relative to all price. History and project sea level of uncontrolled and temperature limited scenario 19 to 2010. The figure shows the history and the comparison of the two dice model SLR projections. Project sea level relative to 2000 for the uncontrolled and temperature limited scenario. The figure shows the illustration sea level projected over the coming half millennium from the DICE model. Note that even in the case of the strong climate change policy, substantial SLR is projected because of the interior in ocean response. Normalized cost of hurricanes for the United States 19 to 2012. The figure shows the ratio of damage to GDP for all hurricanes for the given year. Impact of the climate change, hurricane interference and the redistributions on different regions. Which regions are likely to most adverse affected by the hurricane interference include by the global warming. Estimate of the extinction rate for the marine life for the last 600 million years. The extinction rate is the number of female of non-marine organization that become extinct per unit of time. Historical and projected extinction rate of different groups. The figure show a recent compilations of the estimate of historical and project extinction rates for the project group. Here is the estimate of the impact of the global warming of the global economy. The figures show of compilations of estimates of the aggregate damage from global warming for each temperature increase. Dots are individual studies. The solid line is the global damage function used in the DICE model. The arrow is the estimate from of the most recent IPCC survey of the impact. The estimate generally include only partial estimate of the damage to non-market sector. Source of CO2 emission 2010. The figure shows the percent breakdown of CO2 emission in 2010. Projections of the most economical way of United States of reduce CO2 emissions by fuel types. According to a study of the US Energy Information Administration, we should reduce coal use more sharply. These results are similar to those of the other economic model. The average cost of the reduced GHA emission 2025, the figure shows as estimates of the average cost of the reduced emissions in the most efficient manner for the world as a whole. Estimate for the United States differ slightly but have the same shape. Estimate goal cost of the meeting different climate objective. The two curves shows that the function of the global income needed to gain a given temperature objective. The left hand curve assesses 100% practitioners and effectiveness policy design, while the right hand curve assumes 50% participations. Low participation make it virtually impossible to achieve the 20-degree Copenhagen target. Figures 27. Discounted reduce the value of the distance goods. Discount is like visual perspective, reduce the value of the goods and service in the future. Steaming goal temperature varies in the loss of 400,000 years along with the model projected for the next 2 centuries. These figures show a reconstruction is normalized at 0 degree Celsius. These are the different kind of interesting information research and everything which in adding values. Total cost of different temperature target assume 100% efficiency. that climate change is a big important issue in our society. Climate change actually happening in the many things. So if you have any question regarding climate change, how climate change actually create the impact in our society, you can understand it's not only about the graph, it's not only about information, it's not only about mm, information source and everything. It's all about how we can contribute for the society. It's all about how we can create values for the society. It's all about how we can add different kind of things in our society. In the COVID-19 situation, we are observing that there are many important things in happening in the world. In the observing, there are many important aspects happening around the world. So what is the major issue? The major issue is the climate change. Let's say our weather temperature increase. We have a lot of earthquake, we have COVID-19 situations, we have different kind of aspects, we have different kind of economy, we have different kind of analysis, we have different aspects of the society. But most important thing is that we have to understand how things moving forward. We have to understand how things is moving to the one level to the another level. We have to understand how we can make necessary initiative for the society. So for that particular issues, we have to understand that how climate change impact in our society, what how we can do carbon emissions, how we can make better ecosystem, how we can save our planet, how we can make our planet more effective, what is the source of this carbon, and how we can reduce the carbons. And most important thing, our temperature is increasing, so we have to reduce these temperatures, and this is the way how we can solve uh, our things. And most important thing is that we have to create awareness. The more we can create awareness to the youth community, the more we can create awareness to the global community, the more we can engage with the local community, we can train them, we can request them uh, that how they can develop and survive in the climate change situation. So World Talent Economy Forum, School of Talent Economy, we are working with uh, like a different kind of issue. We are developing different strategy for technology, we are developing different strategy for uh, different things. So we have to solve this problem, we have to understand that how we can solve the problem, we have to understand how we can overcome from this situation, we have to understand how we can make an impact for our society. Then we can take necessary strategy for this world, then we can take necessary strategy for our local economy. So I request everyone to create more awareness program on climate change, take necessary initiative that how we can solve these things. And most important, we have to uh, work together, we have to learn together that how we can solve these things. So if you have any kind of question regarding climate change, if you have any kind of things that how we can solve together, you can communicate with me. Thank you everyone.